What's up, guys? Twice here with a little bit of a different video for you. This one is going to be Vanguard related, but we're actually going to talk about the lore of some cards, mainly for Golden Royal Paladin, as they relate to the Knights of the Round Table, one of the coolest sets of legends that there is, one of the most widely known, especially in Western culture. I honestly just got done watching The Quest for the Holy Grail, and I mean, that's one of the greatest movies ever made. It's just hilarious, the British humor. But as a big fan of both that movie and of the actual legends themselves, as well as Vanguard and Bushiroad, who does a great job of not only illustrating cards that are really cool, but making up excellent stories for them to give them more depth, which is, as I mentioned in my Why I Play These Deck videos, is one of my favorite parts of the game. One of the parts that I think is what makes this game distinguished from others, and that's why I kind of wanted to do a video like this. So we're just going to go down the list of like the major knights here. And as Wikipedia points out, there are a lot of different knights from a lot of different stories, like 12 to 150. Winchester Roundtable says that there are 25, but these are the ones right here that are like the most common. And there's even other ones, like there's Aglavale and Agravain right up top, Bagmadeus. You know, we recognize these cards as being, you know, Aglavale's the Legion mate for Percival, Agravain's a Mega Blast, Bagmadeus is the 12k attacker for Ezel, and the list goes on and on. Even Sagramore is down there. But these are the major ones. We're just going to take a look at the cards that are named after them. So King Arthur himself does actually have a card, well, you know, kind of made after him, which is King of Knights Alfred, who is the head of both the Royal and Gold Paladins, and is actually named after the guy that King Arthur is based on, Alfred the Great, one of the greatest kings in all of British history. That's kind of why he has the name the Great. Was a brilliant military leader, ensured that British history was written down, which was really important to kind of give a cultural basis for Britain, and was overall just a very chivalrous, respectful, strong king, and that reflects King of Knights Alfred's character as well, and all of the things, or all of the versions of him that have come after there. Now, the other thing is that King Arthur is actually the 14th member of the Round Table. For all the ones that say that there are 13 members, he presides over them, so he would be the 14th member, which is why Light Source Seeker Alfred Exiv, version XIV, the 14th, is named such. Then we have Sir Gawain, who is one of the more prominent Knights of the Round Table. There's a poem called Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, which I read my junior year of high school, and it's a really good poem, but Gawain himself doesn't have a card named after him yet, which is good because now they can preserve that for a future boss card for like Shion Kiba, or whoever winds up using Gold Paladins in Season 5. Now, Sir Lancelot does have a card named after him. Of course, Solitary Knight Gancelot, one-letter replacement, who is as prominent in the Cray lores as Lancelot is in the Arthurian lores. He becomes the Break Ride for Gold Paladin, and then, of course, the Cross Break Ride, Liberator of Bonds, Gancelot Zenith. So at least they kept him, you know, that relevant in the story to reflect the character that he's named after. And then we have Sir Galahad, who people who have played the game for a long time will know. Knight of Godly Speed Galahad was one of the first ride chains that there ever was. He looks amazing, really he does, and his ability was actually pretty useful for the time. Counterblast 2, the number of Royal Paladin in your soul is 6 or more, he gets +3 and a crit until the end of the turn. That's pretty good for a time when most Vanguards were 10k base, and yeah, again, like, look at that sword. He's one of the most well-designed knights, at least, that there is. So I'm glad Galahad, who is a major knight, got a really good card. Then we have Percival, who really got, like, a good deal on this, because Percival himself is the achiever of the Holy Grail. You know, that thing that they talk about in the movie. But it's also the chalice that Jesus Christ was said to drink out of in the Last Supper. So Percival himself, being the achiever of the Holy Grail, really got a good card in Olivier Gaillard's avatar, and one of my personal favorite cards, Bluish Flame Liberator Percival, who, I mean, just looks amazing. He becomes Prominence Core and Glare, so he has a great prominence in the story as a whole, in, you know, in the alternate timeline, which is kind of the complicated part of the new lore. But, I mean, he looks great. I'm glad that they gave Percival this kind of card. Yeah, and the fact is that, although, you know, Season 4 wasn't that great, I'm glad that they had the character of Gaillard, because to me, he had a little bit more depth than some of the other ones. But anyway, going down, we have Sir Bors the Younger. Now, this is where it gets a little bit different in that all of these cards are kind of, you know, a little more insignificant. But Bors came out in the first trial deck, Blaster Blade. He looks cool, but Knight of Conviction Bors wasn't that great of a card. Counterblast 1, when he attacks, he gets +3. That was decent for the time, but, you know, it really wasn't all that impressive, even back then. And yeah, they kind of had to put out a couple cards in the trial deck that were named after the Knights of the Round Table to give you an idea of what they were doing. But again, he does look really cool. Then we have Sirlamorak, who is embodied in this card, Knight of Determination Lamorak, who came out in Cavalry of Black Steel. He's the other 10k vanilla for, you know, Royal Paladin besides Galatine. He looks good, I guess, and yeah, he's another 10k, that's about it. Then we have Sir K, who is actually a really important card, Knight of Friendship K. Him, along with Bedivere, who are both Knights of the Round Table, were the special attackers for blasters, which is what made that deck pretty good for its time. He is what started the K clone, you know, terminology in Vanguard. When he attacks, he gets +3 if you have a blaster Vanguard, and then Bedivere is the 12k version of that. But, I mean, they both look really good, in my opinion. I mean, God, look at Bedivere, he's amazing. So yeah, they definitely made those two knights who are pretty prominent, like, really important cards for that deck. And then the other one we have is Sir Gareth, who is the AK vanilla of, you know, Gold Paladins. He's part of the Superior Ride for Ezel. He looks pretty decent. Part of the Red Lion Corps, which is one of the major troops of Gold Paladin. Then we have Sir Lucan, who has a pretty interesting backstory. That's Bedivere. Sir Lucan actually, although his ability isn't that great, when his drive check reveals a grade 3, he gets +5. The lore for Knight of Endurance Lucan is pretty good in that he was a member of the Shadow Paladins. When he saw Majesty Lord Blaster defeat Phantom Blaster Overlord, became a Royal Paladin, then when they got sealed away, joined Gold Paladin so that he could put his skills to good use and help his friends out. Nice little story. He looks really good, and although the card itself isn't that good, at least they gave Sir Lucan, you know, a good backstory for his card. Then we have Sir Grifftlit, who's Photon Archer Grifftlit right here. Ability was Counterblast 2, when his attack hits Vanguard, pay the cost, stand one of your rear guards. That's when he's on Vanguard. And then Counterblast 2, when his attack hits a Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your grade 1 or less Gold Paladin rear guards and stand it. It was pretty decent for its time. He is only a 10k base, but, you know, regardless, at least he was pretty useful in early Gold Paladin decks. And then we have Sir Vayne, who got a really good deal in that he is Prevail Jewel Knight Vayne, who not only looks good, but is also the Legion for Jewel Knights, and I can't wait to put him in my deck. Legion 20k with Sword Me. When this unit attacks Vanguard, if he's in Legion, and in the number of units you have with Jewel Knight and its card name is 6 or more, he gets +5k and a crit until the end of the turn, for free. And when he attacks a Vanguard, he gets +2. So if you have a full field of Jewel Knights, he swings for 27 crit 2 when he's in Legion. That's really good. So I'm really glad that they gave him, like, you know, a really good card, because he's actually, again, one of the more important ones. He actually has a Wikipedia article. Now, Eric and Kador don't have one. Kador hopefully will get one, because, again, he's a better member of the Knights of the Round Table. But then Hole has one. Stronghold of Black Chains Hole. One of the more useless cards, unfortunately. Put him into the soul, give +3 to one of your Gold Paladins. The only time that people use these cards for starters are when they're doing drafts. At least that's the only time I've ever seen someone use them for any practical purpose. But still, at least he has a card named after him. And then we go down to King Pelinore, who got a really good deal in that he's one of the most badass cards in all of Gold Paladin. White hair in the moon's shadow Pelinore. That's an amazing name, it really is. Though yes, he is in a bunny suit, but still, he's really good. Limit break, choose 2 of your Gold Paladin rear guards, put them at the bottom of your deck in any order. When he attacks, pay the cost. You do, choose up to 2 of your Gold Paladins, gets +5 until the end of the turn. And that's really good, but it was his second skill that made him amazing. Choose a Gold Paladin from your hand and discard it. When he's placed in the rear guard circle from your deck, if your opponent has a grade 2 or greater Vanguard, pay the cost, then you ride him as your Vanguard as stand. And then you can use his Limit Break. So that's what made Pelinore really threatening and gave, you know, a lot of threatening power and pressure to earlier Gold Paladin decks. He was an excellent complement to Ezel as well. So I'm glad that Pelinore, being a king and a member of the Knights of the Round Table, and the father of Percival, got that kind of card. And then we have Sir Tristan, who is a really important knight, but unfortunately got Knight of the Heart Tristan, who's kind of useless. When his drive check reveals a grade 3, he gets +5. He's a grade 2, and he only has 8k. This is one of the cards that came out in the first trial deck. What are you going to do? He looks good, and his lore is actually pretty decent, but, I wish that they would have given Tristan a more important card. Then we have Sir Palamidi, who Yeah, he got that. Swordsman of the Explosive Flames Palamides, who aside from looking gorgeous, I mean, look at him. He knows that he's gorgeous. Look at that face. How smug. And then his ability was amazing. When he attacks, if the number of grade 3 Royal Paladin, Vanguard, and or rear guards you have is 2 or more, he gets +3 until the end of that battle. Yeah, he was a 13k attacker whenever you had 2 or more grade 3s on the field. This card was useful in all Royal Paladin decks, even up through Season 2 and a little bit into Season 3. But still, yeah, definitely one of the more useful cards, and glad that Palamides actually got a good card like this. Dinadin doesn't have one, but, you know, like I said, there are other ones down here that, you know, are members of the Knights of the Round Table, but these are the major ones that we went over today, and, again, I'm really glad that Bushiroad invested the time that they did into this. Just makes the game all the cooler. So, can't wait for all the things that are coming out in the new set, G-Booster Set 2, Soaring Beauty. Can't wait to see all the support that comes out there. I might do a video on the lore for the alternate timelines and stuff, because I know a lot of people are confused about that, but I would have to go through the lores myself in order to understand it. So thank you guys again for watching. Remember to always have a great day and keep card fighting. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.